And good morning to Mindy Hahn. I'm Ramon Scott. Welcome to the morning steam. Look at sports betting today for Sunday, September 4th. Mindy, I'm still trying to wrap my head around what happened in the last uh, 20, 21 hours or so with college football. We saw some wild results and games and bets and everything, and still trying to fathom what just happened. But we did see some exciting games. I think, I don't know, Ohio State and Notre Dame. I don't know if that turned out to be exciting, but it was interesting, certainly, with Ohio State prevailing and not getting that cover. Georgia crushing Oregon, kind of saying that, uh, you just stay in your little pack conference because you can't compete with the big boys. I think Arkansas, Cincinnati, close game all the way, and Arkansas gets the money for the most part. Maybe some early bettors could have gotten that money with the underdog. Florida and Utah, you said it'd be an exciting game. It was. Florida gets the win there as an underdog, but that might have been, it wasn't the most entertaining, but I think it was because it was so close. But obviously, the most entertaining games East Carolina, NC State, North Carolina, and Appalachian State.
Sounds crazy.
Yeah, they're still scoring, and Houston and UTSA had that overtime game. You want any of those games stand out for you, or anything I missed?
Well, I thought the Appalachian State game was by far the most exciting of the day. I mean, what did they say? They scored 40 points there in just the fourth quarter. I mean, that was pretty wild. And then just when you think, North Carolina has it in the bag, not so fast. And then, Houston was one of those. I thought they were kind of going to just maybe run away with it. And Utsa said again, not so fast. They kind of looked like, the team from last year a little bit. I think the one that surprised me by far the most was Arizona versus your San Diego State. And then also, I was really surprised at Syracuse beating up on Louisville. I didn't expect that one there either. So I was entertained all night. I thought there was quite a few good games, and then all the way to the end, you got your Western Kentucky cover, no matter how you had it.
Yeah, I mean, we ended up just giving it out, right? I mean, I didn't mean to be so casual.
It's just that you had a strategy going into it, and you're just giving others your strategy,
Yeah, but by the end of the show, and again, I was not, I was really burning the midnight oil last night, or the 6 a.m. oil, or whatever you want to call it. But maybe it was just a little too I should have been, a little more stressful, so that or not stressful, but stress to our players. Go ahead and lay that 16.5. That's what we said. Basically, there was still a free play, premium back that I had on the site, but we were still pretty confident. And Hawaii's got plenty of issues. I certainly watched all those games. I can react to some of them as well. San Diego State, not ready for prime time. It looks like because they
put them in nice.
They put them in the nice stadium, but you gotta. Again, I mean, maybe it's a San Diego thing. They're just not ready to peak in there. That was a prime time or the main window game for CBS, and as an El Flapo, Arizona came in, and after Arizona did not compete really in that game last year against San Diego State, so San Diego State's going to have to go back to the drawing board. You wonder if the distractions a little bit this past week, I think they overdid it a little bit on the pregame telecast with a story that really maybe it hasn't received the national attention. Here, it's a very big story in this town, with the allegations. But again, it just to me it was dragging on and on and on. I'm ready to see the game and the stadium, and we're talking about this, and maybe it's just because. And again, I don't want to belittle this story at all. It's a major news story, but we were ready to get into some football. But I understand the responsibilities of the network coming in, wanting to cover the game, also wanting to, I don't know, grab attention of the viewers and things like that. So I get it, I understand it, but again, I was just ready. Maybe I was just a little frustrated because the way San Diego State played in their first game in their new stadium, it was a complete flop. And the post-game quotes had some very upset players because they did not perform. And they bring in Braxton Burmeister,
Sure.
and he basically only throws 10 passes. Now, look, he's not, San Diego State's never going to be a team that's going to throw 40 passes in a game, but the offense again was very, very pedestrian, and just wasn't very impressed at all by their performance. So yeah, and also Syracuse and Louisville. We expected a more competitive game there, and I don't know, maybe they've dipped a little bit. We'll see. Moving forward, I think we were expecting a dip there, but wasn't sure it was going to be that severe. So just a ton of games, a ton of action, and I had a great time and a pretty okay day in football, but just a huge schedule. And there's one game today we'll talk about maybe after we do the baseball first, but one college game today. But mostly we're going to talk about Major League Baseball. A little more relaxed today, I think, because we're back on. But this is it. I mean, next Sunday we'll be, like everybody else, more excited than Saturday.
Right? Can't wait for the NFL season either. Got my fantasy, drafts here that coming up this week.
You probably have one every day of the week planned.
No.
Okay. Well, I only, I'm just a DFS player these days. I think they're so time consuming, those fantasy leagues, and we have our hands full with betting and all that. So I don't mind it. I love it that everybody gets involved, even if they're not bettors like we are, that they have something going, especially if they have some money on the line or a perpetual trophy maybe, or something like that. Some goofball trophy, or maybe they have to go dress up.
No tattoos.
Maybe they got to do something really crazy. I don't know. So, Mindy, we'll talk Major League Baseball, I think, to start off, but let's sort of check in with some of our commenters. I think we're going to start it off with, we've got some friends joining us in the chat, so let's say hi to all of them as well as we get ready for the Free Picks Rapid Fire Rundown. Billy Mack is in the house. Welcome, Billy. Anybody else want to comment out there? Be sure to like and subscribe and do all that. And let's go over first. I got to develop a routine with our show. Otherwise, they're going to get on our case, Mindy. So let's first visit Tony'sPicks.com and see what's going on over on the website today. You can check out all of our records from yesterday. You see Collins with a nice day, 7-2. Let's take a look and see. Let's take a peek at what Collins did yesterday, since he had such a nice day. I see if he was involved in maybe some of that SEC action. Get Collins packages. Definitely involved in a lot of it. Every team was SEC for Collins, so I think we can see where he's going to be going this season. Of course, he did have the late game in Major League Baseball. Brewers get that run line cover, but look, he lays a price here with South Carolina against Georgia State. I had a winner in that game on a premium with the under. Remember, I passed yesterday, and my premium was on the under in that game. He rolls with Mississippi State. I talked about it, Mindy. I lost the free play in that one. I said, I'm going to go under, kind of fading the air raid offense. Well, the air raid rated it up for 50 points yesterday in that one. Also, there I beat Collins, though. He had the over in the Georgia State-South Carolina game, so maybe we should have hooked up on a 2-for-1 capper promotion. There's the Utah-Florida game. He has a winner there going over, and some other good winners here with SEC teams. He has a double whammy there in the Cincinnati-Arkansas game, side and total. And he also rolled with Michigan, and that's something we had. Remember, Mindy, I said, we'll go ahead and lay Michigan on that free play yesterday that Harbaugh would go ahead and smash. And sure enough, what did he do? Wasn't it like didn't he have like a fourth down in the fourth quarter or something like that? And they went for it.
Yeah.
44-7. So we told you to go ahead and lay Michigan yesterday. I don't know what I went too many free plays to count. I mean, look, you could say, you got to keep track. I'm not going to keep track. If you want to be my guest, if I had a losing day, post it in the chat. I don't mind, but in the rapid fire segment, Mindy. I don't think
Well, that's what I said. I had too much going on too. I went like towards maybe the end of the night, and I was like, "Well, maybe I'll go through with this." And I'm like, "Well, I gotta prepare for tomorrow," so didn't quite get to that. But I think we did okay. If I just kind of went through the numbers real quick.
I know my free picks. I know, and every I started off very very hot, kind of cooled down towards the end, and had a couple loses in UFC, but a couple of winners as well there. But lost a big $2 chalk, so ended up on the day. I think it was 9-5 on the day. My record's a little bit the grading hasn't come in yet on everything there for me on my chart, but no big deal there. Take a look at what we got over at Tony'sPicks.com. We got best bets today from Nick, Paul, and Ben. Also, you have packages. Here's the GM. Got a best bet for the day as well. Tony's in with his picks. Mindy, you got a premium. Tell us about it today. Premium, I guess, in the Florida State LSU game, huh?
That's right. So I took a premium play in that one, as long as a Major League Baseball on there as well. And I have to sneeze. Sorry.
No problem. I'll get the show started. You can even turn off your cam for a second or duck away like I was yesterday as we get used to the schedule a little bit. I was, kind of feeling it, staying up about 20 straight hours, and I only took a couple of quick naps during today too, but feeling a lot better today. As we get ready for the baseball card, we'll come back and take a look at the website again, maybe towards the end, and show some more features. And Mindy, you told me yesterday that looks like we're getting we're going to start implementing the daily package guarantee. I don't know if it's actually a full go yet, or if we've gotten the full steam ahead. But I think it's a great move and a great call by the GM and by Tony to guarantee all of our daily packages. Even if we go $1 into the red, you're going to get a free refund on your entire package to use with other handicappers here on Tony's Picks.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great way to do business to keep you guys coming back. That way, you can also have faith in us. So you're like, I'm not going to keep betting with these guys if they lose, or if you just want to jump in and you just so happen to hit a capper when they're on an off day rather than when they've been on all week. You watch the leaderboards, you're like, oh, Mindy's been up there all week. And then you finally buy one of my packages and I have a terrible day and I, lose 9 games. So it's one of those that it's kind of a bummer if you're getting in at the wrong time. And I think it's, it shows our responsibility as cappers in order to put good product together, as well. So yeah. I really like it that we're having the guarantee on a 3-pack. If I lose by like Ramon said, if I lose by $1, you get another play from me or another capper again.
Yeah, and again, I mean, this is kind of like when you're playing baseball. We could be hot and still be losing 3 or 4 out of every 10 games, and that's still pretty darn hot. So, again, you could end up, picking a couple of dogs and go, 3-3, 4-4. And end up just slightly in the red. We want you to win, so you're gonna, we're gonna keep it with you until you do get that profitable day. So, all right, we'll get into Major League Baseball. Spend the next 45 minutes with you talking about different things as well. But we got a 16 game card with a double header. I broke those up into time. I don't know, Mindy, if you have a schedule or rotation that you were looking at, but maybe I'll flash the game up there and we can just get rolling.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right. Now I'm going in time order here. Oops. All right.
Yeah, so we're looking at Toronto and Pittsburgh here on this one. Blue Jays are heavy favorites in this one. The Blue Jays, I think, are playing a little bit better in this series. Brubaker, I think, is, decent, but yet for me, I'm going to go ahead and take those Blue Jays on the run line, maybe a little bit predictable in this one. But I like them definitely covering, winning by 2 here in this.
I think that's going to be I don't know if that's going to be I don't want to say the square play, the standard play a lot of people are going to get involved with. I mean, we know that, Brubaker when he's in there in his games, it hasn't been a good situation necessarily for Pittsburgh, but his numbers haven't been horrible. But Stripling, really even sharper right now than he has been all season. ERA under 2 in his last 4 starts, so Stripling still cruising along quite nicely. But for me, I think I'm going to end up going over in this one. Yeah, maybe the Blue Jays will get some runs off of Brubaker. Brubaker's got an ERA 4.39 this season, so that's going to be the selection for me. Pittsburgh's bullpen hasn't been that sharp of late. ERA under 5, just under 5 over the last 10 games. I'll go over 8 as my free selection in that game.
Cool.
All right.
Next
This
up.
is the way I have it. I don't know if this was the way I saw it on the. In fact, I do see it now on the betting board that this. No, I think I had that wrong, Mindy. Actually,
Is this
I
one
think
the second one or? the
Yeah,
first?
I think the first game is actually going to be the other pitching matchup. So maybe I could just correct that because looking at the board now, actually, I originally thought that was going to be it, but it's going to be Marquez and Lodolo in the first matchup for Colorado. Herman Marquez, and for Cincinnati will be Lodolo. I'm just fixing the graphic here. Apologize, everybody. I thought I was ready to go. So I'll send it over to you, Mindy, and I'll tell you Lodolo. The odds that we had on the screen were correct, however. I believe in the first game with the Reds being a slight favorite.
Yeah, I mean, I did see that it looked like the pitching matchup from last night flip-flopped to the late game for this doubleheader. Rockies and Reds. I was on the Rockies last time. Reds got them right there at the end. I wound up winning 4-3. I still like the Rockies here in this one as the underdogs. I'll take them at the plus 105 odds here on the money line.
All right. Well, Lodolo, he's actually been pretty okay over his last 3 starts. 3.26 ERA. He's got a WHIP under 1 currently. Marquez, he's cleaned it up a little bit as well. 4.26 ERA over his last 3 starts. His season ERA is closer to 5, but Cincinnati's had a pretty decent bullpen over the last 10 games. 3.32 ERA. So for me, I think in game 1, I'm going to look to go under here in this one. I'm going to go under 8 with Colorado and Cincinnati in game 1 of the doubleheader. And we got a play from the chat. Billy's saying go with the Reds at home here in game 1 with Lodolo. So
fade the Marquez, right?
Yeah. Thank you, Bill. Mm-hmm. Let's move on here now, Mindy.
So we got Miami here with Lopez versus Atlanta. Max Fried on the mound. Again, big heavy favorites have been in this one at the minus 265 odds. Again, Atlanta hasn't quite been able here as of late to cover that. The run line, it seems. They've only been winning by 1. So, for me, I would kind of look at maybe a first 5 in this one. I tried to look for lines. I didn't really see anything. It might be one of those that it's just way overpriced. Otherwise, I would probably take, Atlanta first 5, probably land the half a run on that one. So that would probably be my pick here in this one.
All right. Yeah, Atlanta's been a break-even proposition all season on the run line, but I know what you're saying of late. And I don't know, for some reason, when I see these big numbers with Atlanta, yeah, it does kind of worry me. But Fried obviously continues to be solid, 2.25 ERA over the last 3 starts, all 3 of which have gone under. So I'm going to just leave it to you, Mindy, with that first 5 pick because I'm expecting to have a premium in this one on the total, I think. So probably just leave it as is. I won't divulge too much information or talk about the game and try to sell some packages today in the game between Miami and Atlanta. Head on over to Tony'sPicks.com. Pick up my baseball package today. I'm going to have this one most likely in there unless maybe the line moves by the time we get off the air or something like that. But for right now, looks like I'm going to have a premium. I'll just take a pass.
Yeah, and again, you can get that as a guaranteed package where if Ramon loses, which he won't lose, but if he does, you would get your money back to where you could buy another package or come back and see Ramon the next day or a different capper of your choosing there. But next up, we got Oakland with Martinez, Watkins for Baltimore. I'm going to have a premium here on this game as well. Might be a little, predictable, I suppose. Overall, just with how hot those, that Baltimore team has been as of late. But for this one, I actually, I kind of tend to go on the under here in this one, under under the 8.5 runs.
That's it looks good to me, Mindy. I'll just agree with you here and take the under. You got Baltimore; they've gone under 14 of their last 17 now, and in fact, I don't know, several games over the last about in that streak. I mean, the games are just not reaching 8 runs, period, no matter who they play right now. Baltimore doing an excellent job. We think of some of their young hitters that are looking good and have big futures, but they've been doing it very strong with pitching as well. Watkins hasn't necessarily been one of those guys with his 4.26 ERA, but he has gone under in his last 3 starts, despite the fact that Baltimore has lost all 3 of those games. But Baltimore has a red-hot bullpen right now with an ERA under 2 over the last 10 games. So, we're going to have a little agreement here and go under with Oakland and Baltimore, and we'll chalk that up in the official tally that we're not keeping track of.
Right.
Games that
the official, not official tally.
But that's one. Maybe somebody else say, hey, if they agree, we're going to play that. So there's your double play. We should have maybe I don't know. We might have a bells and whistles. Maybe we'll have a graphic or something that if we agree on something, we can double play or something.
Notate it.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one.
All right,
here.
Next up. Yeah, Texas here at Boston, minus 125 odds for those Red Sox, 9.5 here for run total. So, I was kind of heavy on Texas initially on the, I took him on the run line here, I think almost once or twice. I can't remember. But the Red Sox there in the late innings have just kind of been destroying that bullpen, it seems, as of late. So, again, I'm going to go ahead and I think the Red Sox, again, they're going to pull this one out. I'm going to take them at the minus 125 here in this one.
Yeah, it's been that bullpen, Mindy, 6.23 ERA over the last 10 starts, but Texas hasn't been much better, 5.18 ERA over the last 10 starts. We know, quite frankly, that Boston has been, I think they're the hottest hitting team over the last week and a half or so, as far, hitting over 300, which is hard for any team to do nowadays. So they're definitely producing, I would say, producing runs and scoring. The bullpen's been giving it up. So you got a Texas team that's gone over in 8 of their last 10 games overall, and Boston's only gone under in 2 of their last 8, so they're going over as well. So for me, there's my play going over 9.5 in Texas and Boston.
All right. So next up here, let's see. I got to get back to my stream here. Sorry. So we got Kansas City at Detroit here. We got Castillo and Manning on the mound. I think for these 2 teams, it's just kind of hard to see, who's going to show up, right? Casey scores a bunch of runs one game, not so many the next. Kind of the same with Detroit. They're kind of both, kind of scary, scrappy teams here in this one. I just think, Kansas City, they're a little bit more, I think, what do you want to say, consistent right now. I'm going to go with them at the plus money here, the plus 105 for those Royals here today.
Well, I don't mean. I mean that's your team you follow. What have you seen Max Castillo? What can you give me any? What do you think of Max Castillo? Is he?
I have not seen Max Castillo personally. It's one of those like, again, a lot of my, the way I bet is based off of a formula that I've, created. And so that way I'm able to not always know maybe the most about, the players that are out there because, he hasn't really been pitching here a lot, but still be able to use all of the metrics that I have in order to create, a winning formula in this. So based on all of the factors here, that's where I come up with the Royals at the plus money here on this
no problem there.
Even though I don't really know too much about, Castillo himself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we know he is 1-0-1, 1-2 are the Royals in his starts. All 3 starts have gone over, but a decent ERA so far, 2.81 ERA in 25 2/3 innings pitched. He's made 3 starts and gone 12 1/3 innings in those starts, but his ERA in the starts 3.65 for Manning. He's got a 3.79 ERA, but his last 3 starts have been run higher at 4.70. Kansas City has been getting blown up in the bullpen, but I like the pitching matchup today, actually, and I like the fact that Detroit has only been able to go over in 3 of their last 14 home games. So for me, I'm going to go under 8 runs today with Kansas City and Detroit.
Cool. So next up, we have New York Yankees versus those Tampa Bay Rays, Montas versus Yarborough. Yankees here at minus 125. I've been on Tampa Bay the last 2 days here, one with them both days. But yet for today, I'm going to take those Yankees at the minus 125 here today on that.
Yeah, and note I put Yarbrough in there, but the listed starter is Sean Armstrong. It looks like an opener, so make sure that you're either designated with Tampa Bay. I think I don't know what people like to do. I mean, for me, when I specify, I'm always specifying usually my pitcher only, but if I have a bullpen game, I just choose action because you really don't know what's going to happen. Tampa Bay, I think, is one of those teams where you often are not going to lose a lot of value by just, by not getting your play in, by designating who might be the starter if it's an opener. I think Tampa Bay, you almost want to always, unless it's one of their frontline guys, which, maybe they only really have 3 of them that start regularly. They're a team maybe where you just choose action. Now, I know some people will just choose action all the way. I can't do that because especially if I've got, a favorite, right? Again, for me, I'm not worried about designating the other team's starter because rarely are you ever going to get a situation where the other team is going to scratch a starter and put a better guy out there than the one that they already have. I mean, that's that is a rare occurrence. So I really only designate my pitcher that I want to start, that if you're dealing with mediocre pitchers and if a guy gets scratched, you're dealing in a game that isn't of high consequence where the pitcher maybe doesn't mean as much. Sure, go ahead and pick action. But for me, I'm always going to pick my starter. But with Tampa Bay in a situation like this, with an opener, action is always going to be my designation usually for a team like that. Okay, well, that's just a little tidbit there. Anyways, let me look at the game between the Yankees and Tampa Bay, Montas and Armstrong, but I think Yarborough might get a bulk of the action in there after that. So for this one, I'm going to look to go over the a 7 and let's see. It's 7 flat right now is what I'm showing right now at most books. So I put it in there. It was 7,515. So I think I'm getting value here. Oh boy, almost a premium for me. But I'm going to give it out right here instead as an over. I've got a Tampa Bay team that's only gone under in 2 of their last 8 games following a win. So I think this one can get over today. In this one, the Yankee bullpen not as solid as they have been, and that's been one of their problems of late. They have an ERA nearing 4 over the last 10 games here. So as the Yankees continue to stumble, Montas has also been part of the problem when he's been in there. He's got a 6 ERA over his last 3 starts. So for me, that's what I'm going to do, Mindy. I'm going to go over in the Yankees and the Rays. Let's visit with some of our comments. We've got, looks like Billy Mack's going to agree with me. Latifah's joining us as well, some of our friends and regulars. We'd like to see some more chatters. Please send us your comments, picks. Put your picks up there. We'll flash them on the screen, and you can go back and then show all your friends on, look, I picked this game right on YouTube. Or you can take a screenshot and tweet it out with your name on the screen showing what a great handicapper you are. That's what we can do on this show. All right, Mindy.
All right, so then we have Washington at the Mets. Mets huge favorites here. What's that?
I'm left on $3 $3 Chuck there, 335.
Yeah, so it's one of those, again, I mean, with those numbers, this, should be very much a Mets victory. But again, it's going to be too much for me, to play here. Probably won't be able to play them on the run line, probably not be able to play them on a first 5 at that. But for me, I'm going to go ahead and take the over here at this one. Based off of my modeling here, I have this one, sitting at around 8.985 with an 8.5. I guess I had it at 8. So at 8.5, I'd be like pretty much kind of dead even on that. Still a little bit of edge to the over here in this one.
Well, we know that, all of a sudden Corbin's the hottest pitcher in the He beat Max. He beat Max yesterday as a plus 325 favorite. So Billy Mack says, lay the 2.5 today. Maybe he thinks the Mets are mad. Bill's going to be mad at me, I think, right here, because I was going to, I was going to make my play, and I don't know, I was going to go with an alternative line too. I'm going to take Washington plus 2.5 runs today at minus $1.25. That concerns me. The Mets losing that game yesterday and Washington cashing against Max at plus 325. I don't hope that the Mets aren't playing where they're lowering themselves to the level of competition. The Mets were just one of 3 favorites that did not win yesterday out of the 14 games. The favorites went 11-3 on Saturday. So okay, Billy, we've agreed on so many games that you posted on the screen, but here Billy and I are opposite, and I'm going the alternative run line the other way. So Billy's laying 2.5, and he's probably getting about even money, I think, on that one. I've got to lay the juice to take my 2.5 with the great Fedde on the mound. But anyway, Fedde has been terrible of late. He's got an 8 ERA, but Carrasco got a 5 ERA over the last 3 starts as well. So neither of these guys are doing very hot, and I just think there could be some volatility here. Probably gets into the late innings. Maybe even Washington tacks it on and gets me that money and beats Billy. I don't want to, I want Bill to leave. We're gonna tomorrow. Remind me, Bill, if you win. Please remind me. I'm gonna write it down right here. Versus Billy. And, we'll tout Billy as knocking me off. But that's the way I was gonna look, because I think the Mets that concerns me that they lost that game yesterday. 7-1 wasn't even really much of a score. So, yep.
Challenge. It's like virtual arm wrestling.
Oh yeah, back in Fedde is not a great proposition for sure. I know. I think Tony grades Fedde as the worst pitcher in the league. Again, maybe after Corbin, right? Fedde and Corbin. I've got the back-to-back exacta here, Corbin and Fedde. So, all right.
Yeah, so next up we got Minnesota here with Bundy versus those White Sox, Giolito. White Sox favorite here, minus 130, over under 8.5. For me here with this one, this dog is kind of, cramping my style, sitting on my lap all day
The
here.
Twins? Oh, the dog in your lap. I
This one.
thought you meant the underdog.
But for me here, I'm actually going to go ahead and take the over here again in this one. Both have pretty high ERAs. Um, it's one of those that, I think it's going to be a decent matchup. I probably give, maybe an edge to those White Sox here in this one. But I just like this one here to go over.
Yeah, the Twins. Look, the teams actually end up with similar records, and I don't know. Maybe it's a surprise the White Sox are a game over 500 at this point. They're just a 500 team at home, actually a game under 500, and actually play 2 games over 500 on the road. That's kind of an interesting uh, mark for them because Minnesota, we know they're just not that great on the road. 27 and 35, they just play much better at home. So, but for me, Mindy, I'm gonna have to take a pass because I got a premium on this game between Minnesota and the White Sox today. So I'll leave it to you to give the free pick out that you did. And we also have a couple videos out. Ben and Tony both have their videos on it too. So I think we have enough free action out there. I'll take a pass because I think this will end up being one of the premiums today. No guarantees that it will, but that's the way I was kind of looking. So if you don't mind.
No problem. So next up, you got here the Cubs with Stroman on the mound, St. Louis with Mikolas. St. Louis big favorites here at minus 190, over under 7.5. I actually, I kind of like Stroman here over, the last 10 games or so. He's been sitting more at a 2.5 ERA. So I know the Cubs are, they've actually kind of gotten beat up pretty good here by the Cardinals as of late, but I really think Stroman's going to keep this one close. I'm actually going to take the Cubs here in this one. Plus 60. I think they're just going to pull this one off today with strong first 5 pitching, and the Cardinals. Perhaps not getting into the game here a little bit today versus a Cubs team that they should, on paper, beat handily.
Well, I'm going to expect runs here today. The thing that's tough for me to, I wanted to get involved in a premium in this game, but the thing is, Mikolas goes under against the Cubs. He pitches well against them. 10 of his last 11 starts against Chicago have gone under, but for me, I was going to look to go over in this game with these 2 starters. For me, it's been a case of the Chicago bullpen really has been kind of weak over the last 10 games, an ERA of 7.36. So St. Louis are hitting pretty okay of late, and I never. Look, Marcus Stroman, we know he might be on the backside of his career, but he definitely is going out there and giving you innings each and every time. Unfortunately, the Cubs are just 5-14 in his starts, but he has gone over in 12 of those 19 starts. So that's the way I was going to go, and it's got to be a free pick because of that trend that worried me and Mikolas's success against the Cubs. But I'm going to go over 7.5 in this one, Cubs and Cards.
All right. So for Seattle here, we got Kirby on the mound at Cleveland with Quantrill. Seattle's minus 135, over under 7.5. On this one here, I think those, they've been averaging about 7-8 runs here, per game in this one. I still like the over in this one, even though both of those pitchers, have high strikeouts. But I'm going to go here with the over here in this one, just based off of the trends of the current series. The Mariners being on the hot streak, 6-game winning streak. I like the over here in this one.
Yeah, you mentioned the series, Mindy. The 9 of the last 13 meetings in this series in Cleveland have gone over, so that could factor in as well. And if you look at the two pitchers this season, they are a combined 26 and 16 to the over in their starts. So I can see where you're going with that. Both teams have had a sharp bullpen of late. There's no doubt about that. But for me, look, Seattle's hot. Seattle's looking good. They've won 6 straight ball games now. The really starting just talk about being up and down. I mean, especially offensively. I'm talking about long term this season. They've gone through some real dry spells at the plate, but they seem to have found themselves a bit again here. But I think Cal Quantrill at home might be able to give me a good start. I mean, we have two guys that are pitching very, very well of late. Kirby's got a 2 ERA over his last 3 starts, and Quantrill is a 2.37 ERA over his last 3 starts. But I will say that in those 3 starts, the Guardians have given up just 5 runs. Meanwhile, the Mariners in those 3 starts of Kirby have allowed 13 runs, and I'm getting a plus price at home. I know it's a 6-game winning streak for the Mariners. I do respect that winning streak, but I'm going to take Cleveland as a slight dog today to end that streak, and it's a free play. So, all right. I don't know if you have it. So we talked about the double header. So I don't know if you have it inserted, but this is where I'm going to come in with the second game of the doubleheader, if that's okay.
Yeah, so you have Urena here with Anderson on the mound. Again, this isn't a real exciting, matchup here for me. I probably wouldn't make a play on this one, but if I were going to have to give out, the free pick, I'd probably still take the Rockies. A little bit of an edge here with Urena here on the mound.
Yeah, I mean, Chase Anderson, he's broken right now, it looks like. So he's going to have to fix whatever's bothering him. I think he gave up
27 ERA, something like that. But
he gave up 55 earned runs in his last start or something like that. So, we'll kind
you don't really know what you're going to get with those little stuff,
he's only thrown a couple of innings. We got to get him get back on track a little bit. So, I want to see what happens the first game. I might even consider getting involved in this game. But tough when you're doing a premium like that because you want to see what's going to happen in that first game. So just not sure. I'm going to take a pass in this one. Thank you for making a pick on the game. He has a near 10 ERA in his last 3 starts. So these guys have been kind of garbage of late. The bullpens, like I said, talked about, have been pretty decent. So doubleheader, teams playing out the string. These are the games that really are going to drag on, I think, a little bit once we get into September. So there's one that Bill and I agreed on. Go back just to a play so see, Bill and I are on the same side sometimes. And all right, let's check this one out.
Yeah, so Philadelphia, you have Suarez versus Rodon. Minus 125 here for San Francisco. 7.5 runs is the over-under in this one. So, I mean, I think Ranger Suarez, he's been, decent as of late. But, each of these teams are pretty unpredictable. I mean, at times you would probably fade both of them. But then you have the Giants where suddenly they score, 13 runs a game, that sort of thing. It's really, I think, been unpredictable at best for these two. So I don't know. I'm not sure where I really would want to go here on this one. It's a little bit tough for me. But I think just based off of what I've seen here with run totals, I know Ranger Suarez has been good. Still has both of these pitchers have ERAs over 3. I think I'm still going to take the over here in this one. Slight edge to that. I think it's probably like one of those 3 to 4, 4 to 5, and just to get a little bit over the top here in this one.
That's what happened, I think, today as well. Ended up being 5 to 4, right? So, I look at the numbers and I do see, 2 decent pitchers. When I watch Carlos Rodon, he's not passing the eye test right now for me. That's what I think it is, and Suarez has been excellent, but I think with the way that the Philadelphia bullpen is going, that San Francisco can end up putting up the runs that they need to get it over the 7.5. So maybe Mindy and I'll do a little parlay, a total parlay. They always, the GM Tony, they always want us to do parlay videos, and I'm
Right.
told them, I can't in my heart of hearts, because I don't, I don't know. Everybody does a parlay now and then, and I don't mind parlaying some giant favorites, but again, it's not in my arsenal, right? But
I'm the same way. I don't play them either.
How about this, Mindy? Oakland, Baltimore under to Philadelphia, San Francisco over. The Moni and Mindy totals parlay in Major League Baseball on Sunday, because those we have double agreements on, and they're both totals. So why not? There you go. You want a parlay? Yeah, you want a parlay? There you go. And what's going to happen here is Bill's going to end up with another one against us. So,
right.
But he does have a prop. He thinks Rodon's going to answer the call. So I didn't think Rodon looked that good like last game against the Padres, and that kind of worries me moving forward. But his numbers have been solid this season, and if anything, maybe on the road he's starting to look a little bit better than at home. I'm just not sure. So Mindy and I are on the over there. Maybe it's a price play. It's a free play. So that's the way we're both going.
All right. Next up, you got Houston versus those Los Angeles Angels. Houston, big favorites here, -170. 9.5 here is the over under, or for the total, not over. I mean, kind of over under. Yeah. A total here. I don't know. I think Houston here, they're just. I think they're just too good of a team here right now versus the Angels that just kind of struggle to score runs. I think they've been doing a little bit better as of late, getting some Trout back and, stuff like that. But I think the Astros are just the way better team, in the Astros. I just don't, than the Angels. I just don't see a lot of, I just haven't seen a lot of consistency with the Angels. Especially for run support. I mean, they can have the best pitching in there and not be able to score runs. I'm going to take the Astros here on the run line. I'm going to lay the -1.5.
Remember before the Angels lost those 50 games in a row or whatever it was, that they were like, they got off to a decent start. They have Trout and Shohei, and they were going to contend this, year. And then that first losing streak happened, and that was it.
Yeah, it was pretty much done then.
Right, and now the owner wants to sell the team. Remember,
they could have made that choice, I think, before the trade deadline, but it just never really happened. So I don't know what route they're planning on heading, I guess, next year.
How about personnel? Okay, I don't know if you wanted to comment on the fact that Ojeda was, he put it out there point blank that. Basically was a for sale sign. Our time is done here. We've enjoyed it tremendously. It looks like Ojeda's done with the Angels. Mindy, how do you think going forward? Did you have any thoughts or feelings when you?
Well, I'm an Angels fan, so I am disappointed that that they wouldn't be able to keep him. But I thought if you were going to sell, it was going to be a good time to do it here this season. I mean, I guess he's just always going to be a high commodity, but you probably could have got, a good price and good player. So again, I don't know which way they want to rebuild. I just thought the whole thing was a little odd this year with how it happened.
But he's, I don't think Angel fans could ever put any. He's spent money. It's just it's been a bad luck. Maybe they've spent the money in the wrong place at the wrong time at the wrong positions. I don't know, but I mean, the first thing he did was come in and lower the price of beer, so that got him on the good side of the fans. But again, I mean, he's spent money. No Angel fan, I don't think, can truly complain about his tenure as the owner of the Angels. And I'm sorry that he feels that way, that he wants to, but maybe that's it. Look, I've come in and I've spent the money and it hasn't worked out. So I'm done with it, right? I mean, if I can't throw money at it, then maybe I'm done with it. I don't know, or if he's feeling older, he doesn't want to be involved. Um, you know, I don't know. That's anyways, maybe I better make a pick on the game. Anyways, with Houston and LA, I'm going to look at the total in this one. I think you have a Angel team that's been going, under at home for the most part. I think of late, I got burned. It was my only public play yesterday. Was on the over. Final score was 2-1. I had baseball bets, but didn't do anything on the premium side. And the only one I gave out was a complete flop. So I'm going to say I learned my lesson there. You got two pitchers doing pretty well of late. Urquidy, 2.75 ERA over his last three starts. Tucker Davidson, much improved, 3 ERA over his last three starts, and two of the hottest bullpens in the major leagues, both around a 1.5 ERA for Houston over the last 10 games, 1.72 for the Angels. 9.5's the total. I'm going under in Houston and LA.
Sounds like more WWF SmackDown between Ramon and Latifa.
Oh, yeah, she did. Oh, I put that up. I thought she maybe Latifa. I didn't know if she was actually referring to the Philly San Francisco game. But you're right. I think maybe she was talking about the Angel game. So I don't know, Latifa. Let me know if we talk about the Giant game or the Angel game. I thought she would maybe meant the Giants, but I know we were already on the Angels talking about that one. So, anyways, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but maybe me and Latifa may be going heads up, but I like the under. Go ahead, Mindy.
All right, so next up we got Milwaukee here with Alexander versus Arizona, and those Diamondbacks that have been pretty crazy as of late. I mean, who would have thought that they would probably be about the hottest team right now with Gallen on the mound at minus 160. For me, I kind of feel like this is kind of one of my easiest free plays here, to give out. I think Arizona's just playing a lot better as of late. I was really surprised that Milwaukee got into that in extra innings yesterday. I was surprised that they were able to pull that off with the bats. I think they've been still struggling a little bit, just kind of a mediocre team. I would hit the blast button here on Milwaukee. I like Arizona here to cover that minus 160 easily.
Yeah, well, Gallen's still on that monster run of not giving up any runs. So that's what, has dictated, I would think, that such strong favoritism for a team, that quite frankly they're playing well. Hey, hats off to the Diamondbacks, really, right? Who would have thought that they were only going to be 6 games under 500? I would say they've had a pretty good season considering, I think, expectation. Maybe, look, if you're a Diamondbacks player or fan, maybe you had mediocre expectations. To me, I'm not sure I saw a team that was going to be finishing close to 500. Now, we still got a month to go, but at just 6 games under 500, I'd say the Diamondbacks have maybe exceeded my expectations. And with Gallen on the mound, I mean, $1.60 against a Milwaukee team that's in the middle in the heat of a playoff chase says a lot about the way Gallen is pitching right now. He's lowered his season ERA to 2.53, and he's won 10 games, which 10-2 record. You figure Arizona's won 63 games this season, so he's in 25 starts, he's won 16 times. So Gallen has been awesome. And but I got Bill got my back, I think, in this one. We're both gonna go over in this game. Look, Gallen may go out there and look very, very solid. It's the Arizona bullpen that I'm worried about. They have a 6.5 ERA over the last 10 games. I can't really say that Gallen's going to give up a run because he hasn't given up a run in several games now. What is it? 4 games maybe. So he's just been red hot, but I think it's reflected in the total at 7.5. I'm going to look for it to sneak over the total in this one. Over is going to be my play. Me and Bill going to agree on that one.
Yeah, I think this one even opened at what, like 140, something like that. So there's a lot of money there on
Yep.
those Diamondbacks today too. So then we got San Diego, Clevenger on the mound versus the Dodgers team here that I think is kind of going to pull pitching by committee perhaps kind of today, it seems. They're sitting at minus 165 favorites. Clevenger, he's been okay. His only start versus the Dodgers, he has, lost that one. I think I see the Padres maybe kind of hitting their stride a little bit. Sometimes the Dodgers, I think, even though they're still hot, still don't always have a lot to play for because they're up so big. In this one as well, I kind of like the Padres here on the money line with this one sitting at the plus 140 in this game.
Yeah, and again, Caleb Ferguson's the opener here. I put up the primary pitcher. I think with the Dodgers in this game, if you're going to play the Dodgers, make sure you probably just want to put it up as action. The Padres, they won the game impressively on Friday night, and they were not very impressive on Saturday with the 12-1 loss against the Dodgers. So, but I think with Clevenger on the mound, I think I'm going to look for this one to go under. Against the Dodgers. This game is going to be played, the evening game. There might be some shadows involved there as well at Chavez Ravine. Clevenger, he hasn't been perfect necessarily. He's got a 4 ERA over his last 5 starts, and Ferguson's pitched 24 innings. He has a 2 ERA. It doesn't matter who the Dodgers throw out there. They're
right.
just all great pitchers. So, for me, I think I'd be looking at this game to go under with San Diego and the Dodgers on Sunday.
All right.
Yeah, that's a look at baseball. Back to baseball for one more day. That might be the last Sunday of,
Baseball.
I don't know, NFL is going to be, we'll probably only do, maybe 12 games anyway. So we'll probably look at baseball during the season as well, especially the big games in this last month. We'll have big pennant races and big games down the stretch as well. So, all right. And Mindy, one college football game maybe we can take a look at today. We did talk about it a little bit. So, if you just want to introduce it and whatever, you don't have to tip your hand too much. I don't want you to give away your premium, but a good game, no doubt about it, between Florida State and LSU. I mean, this is not national. Well, I mean, I don't know. Look, no disrespect to Brian Kelly coming on down there and down south where he's feeling at home. But, it's not national. It is national championship contender LSU because they have the LSU on their helmets and shirts. But
right.
We know that it's not the LSU that has been the LSU that's been challenging with the Alabamas of the world the last few years. So at Florida State, they've been a team, obviously, that has been kind of, a failure compared to their expectations. But now all of a sudden expectations are much, much higher. And they look pretty decent in their cupcake game last week. So it makes for an interesting spread. LSU, the early line way back when, was as high as 6.5.
Right.
It actually ended up dipping down to as low as 2.5. But we've seen a little bit of money coming in, maybe public money that's brought this LSU team back up to a 3.5, Mindy, and total 51. So I don't know if you have a free pick or if that would help or if that might tip things, but maybe you have a comment anyway on the game and where you see these teams, or maybe your win totals might be something to discuss as well.
Yeah, so I actually have my premium is going to be on the total in this one. I don't totally love this game here for the spread. I think there's just a lot of that, unknown yet. Florida State here with, Mike Norvell. He's only had 9 wins over the past 3 years. It's one of those that he's getting to be one of those. This season's going to probably make or break, his career here with Florida State. And LSU, you have the unknown yet with Brian Kelly. I think they're probably going to be maybe a little bit more running back heavy. They also brought in, the Chiefs, linebacker coach to be the defensive coordinator, Matt House. They're expecting him to improve the secondary of that LSU team as well. I know Bill, he liked LSU here in this one. And that's the thing. I would probably give, say, the home edge to LSU at the minus, 3.5. I would like it more if it was just sitting at 3. I think they should be able to pull this one off here at home. Home usually covers about 58% of the time. I'm going to give a slight lean to LSU here in this one, but I really do like the total a lot. So you can go over to Tony's Picks and get a premium on the total if you would like in that one.
All right. And I might just, I don't know. I don't want to necessarily disagree with you. I mean, to
It's
me,
okay. Like I said, this is I would never bet this one personally, but it's kind of like if I was going to get my free pick, it was where I would give the edge, right? So that's kind of all I'm, mostly looking at, at there.
How about if I just show Bill's pick and I don't have to make a pick? LSU first
No,
half.
I want to hear what you have to say, Ramon. You should.
Well, no, I think I'll cover the game a little bit more. I don't know if I even have a free pick necessarily on this one.
Yeah.
I am trying to get off taking Florida State. I mean, I'm to me, I like Jaden. I like Daniels as a quarterback. I mean, I've liked him since high school. So whether or not his game will transition to the SEC, I have my concerns. But I think whenever you have an athletic talent like Jaden Daniels over there and getting into a team with LSU, I think it makes you better to have a great talent around you and can really help propel your game. So I think, Daniels, I don't think he has long-term prospects as a pro or anything, but I think as a college quarterback, a guy who can run and throw, might be a good situation, especially for Brian Kelly, who needs to, have some stability there right away when he, with the program. So,
Yeah, I think LSU, they have all of the talent. I think they're ranked, second best in the SEC. But yet you have this new coaching staff, so you always have a little bit of that unknown where you have the high talent, but coaching, you expect, Brian Kelly to, to be good there, but you never know. And I think you were talking a little bit about totals on this one. I know Florida already played against Duquesne, so you can't get them. But according to my calculations, I had the over-under season total at 7 wins. But I have Florida sitting at 8 or 9, so I would have that as a lean to the over on their wins for the season. And if I take it LSU, the over-under again, LSU is 7. I have them sitting at 9 to 10 wins on the season. So also have this as a total over the 7 wins this season for LSU. So I would give them the edge here as well.
Well, and also I'm reserving it. I'm contemplating making a premium, so okay. I don't want to give out a free play. And but again, Tony's got a video up on the game as well, so check out our YouTube channel where we've got a ton of plays, including Mindy, my video contributions today. You also have video contributions. Of course,
I saw a lot from Ben.
Yeah, of course you can get the whole card from Tony on his show, on his pick show. But also you have, I think, 5 videos from Ben. And I have a video series picks today in the WNBA, Mindy. There are 2 games today in the WNBA. These are game 3 of the WNBA semifinals, Chicago and Connecticut. That's the first game, and I believe it goes off at 1 Eastern and 10 Pacific, if I'm not mistaken. And that's followed by Las Vegas and Seattle at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific. Both series are 1 apiece currently. The upsets have shifted the dynamic of the series, and now the underdogs in the series have become slight favorites at home today. Both home teams are favored by about a point and a half in their respective series against the higher seeded teams, Connecticut 1 or 1.5 point favorite against Chicago. Seattle 1 or 1.5 point favorite against Las Vegas. So grab a couple of premiums from me over on the website if you're interested. Mindy, do you have any comment on the WNBA today? Did you?
Well, my modeling has these pretty close. I have edge to the unders in both of those games. The only one that I would maybe, I could maybe give you who I'm rooting for, right? So based off of my modeling, I would have the Sky and then also the Storm at home. So it's going to be interesting to see how these go. Again, those are just my free picks, not anything that I'm personally going to make a wager on today. I just think they're too close, but I think they're going to be really, really fun to watch. And I really think you should go watch Ramon's videos on those because he's been breaking down the whole season. So there isn't anyone that knows more about the WNBA this year than Ramon, and he's been on fire. So go ahead and take a look at those videos and get his free picks there.
Yeah, interesting. Look how close these games are. They're rated near pick'ems, so I think we're expecting, obviously the 4 best teams and in closely rated games with the higher seeded teams on the road in a little bit of desperate situation because they're trying to get the home court advantage back. They have to win, one of the 2 games and take it back home to get.
Yeah, and I, mostly I kind of, maybe back, the Sky a little bit. I just kind of like, the height, rebounding, those turnovers. They just been, I think those are the keys here to victory, in those. And then I think it's the same thing. Like you just have a lot of the height, and then you got the home team there for the Storm. I like the Aces always at home, but away they struggle a little bit.
And also, Mindy, I have a preview of today's CFL game. This one is between the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who are 10-1 this season, going up against the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who are playing pretty decent. They're 6-5. So check out my video.
Yeah, so I looked at that one. I saw that they were the Blue Bombers were -3.5. I don't know too much about it. I know that you follow. Do you have a little bit of insight on that? To me, if I just look statistically down the match, I mean, I think that should be, an easy win for the Bombers, but then they're the away team too. So I don't know what you kind of think.
Yeah, well, in this one, you do Winnipeg. Like I said, they're 10-1 on the season. They defeated Calgary last week, 31-29. They've been playing closer games of late. They probably have the best quarterback in the league right now. And now that the previous best quarterback has been shelved with an injury, Rourke has been kind of the best player in the league. Collaros, the quarterback for Winnipeg, is the reigning MVP. He's got some good targets in this one in Shane and Dembski, and I think that they just have more weapons in this game than Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan's getting a little bit healthy. They're getting Shaq Evans back, who's missed several games with an injury, and also they're getting some offensive line back. They have a good receiver combination with Fajardo, the quarterback, who was kind of feeling the heat, but he played a good game last out against British Columbia in a 23-16 victory. And he's also got Schaefer Baker, his top target. Schaefer Baker, one of the hottest receivers in the league right now. These 2 teams will meet 3 times this month, even though they're in the same division. They have not met in any of the first 13 weeks of the season. Now, you do have, Saskatchewan's kind of known for their defensive line, their pass rush, but if Winnipeg can, contain them, I think that allows for Collaros to possibly get some things done. So go take a look at my video on that one. Also, could have a premium up on this one on the total. My free play over on the YouTube channel is on the side, so go ahead and take a look at that if you want. And Winnipeg, they are 7-2 straight up and against the spread in the last 9 in the series, including 4-1 against the spread here in Regina. So, all right. Also, just to mention, there's 8 matches over at the U.S. Open today. There's also 8 matches in.
I see that you had talked about Sinner. He was still in it, right? He was your prop bet to take some odds money on, right?
Yeah, Jannik Sinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, still riding with Yannick Sinner. His odds are obviously he's moving on, but again, you can start to look at seeing. Let's see what happens. If you want to get off that bet, you might be able to even cash out and already, uh, you
I
know,
feel like you don't have as much faith in yourself if you're
no,
telling
no,
me
I'm just
to
saying,
cash
when you make,
out.
well, a lot, no, I'm just saying a lot of people, hey, you can always ride your future all the way. And I understand it. If you're gambling and everything, it's just up to you. How you want to make your money, right? I mean,
Yeah.
people say, hey, if you're a professional bettor, then why are you, on YouTube, selling your picks as a tout? Well, gotta tell you, I mean, we do our best. We want you to succeed. We think you can succeed, playing just our regular picks long term. But to be part of, being, a professional bettor, a lot of times is making the in-play bets, taking the middles wherever you can find. Uh, you know, a lot of times the best time to get off a bet is when you already know that you are. Uh, Here's the thing, right? You have a premium play. You expect your team to go out and dominate. All of a sudden, you're early in the third quarter or whatever sport you're in, and they're not getting it done. But because they're maybe a favorite, it's still the same price. Well, you know what? My team hasn't jumped off to the start that I wanted. Now the volatility is going to go up a little bit because the game is shorter. So maybe I'll just get out of this one right now. It hasn't worked out the way I thought. So let me, be cautious and just wait for the next spot. Come on back in again on a full game on something. So these are just decisions that you have to make on a moment's notice. I mean, if you can set it and forget it, make your picks and go out and have a nice day at the beach or the lake or the park. More power to you. But I've got to sit here all day with a bunch of TVs because, you know,
Right. Well, I mean, again, not everyone can, sit at the homestead and watch the games, like we do either. And that's kind of a lot of it. We plan on doing all the hard work for you. And, that way you could just have confidence in us, our plays, and then be able to make make some money along the way.
all right, that's it. Catch you again tomorrow with,
All right, cool.
with our weekly rundown. We'll get on Monday with Mindy, and we'll be back with more morning steam tomorrow. For Mindy Hahn, I'm Ramon Scott. Thank you for joining us.
Take care.